Welcome to the How to Accelerate Your Lead Flow in 2025 with paid ads and search, specifically looking at Google Ads, Google Local Services ads, retargeting, and social here today. I'm your host, Josh Blakeley, the owner and founder of Landscape and Hardscape Contractor Marketing. Today, we're going to dive into these areas of using paid traffic to bring more leads for your company. So to start with, going to take a look at a general breakdown of what's involved in setting up your paid ads. So one of the things with paid ads is it allows you to scale up your business. We're going to dive into what strategies, what is working best in today's market, and some examples of return on investment you could see generating with your paid marketing strategies, and how to best set up these campaigns for the minimum lead cost, maximum return on investment, and some tips and tricks to make sure that you're getting the most out of these. And then lastly, we're going to look at the key performance indicators you should be tracking, what's involved in setting up landing pages and campaign structure, and giving you some practical ways to get these paid ads campaigns going today. And we're going to be really focusing on the Google side of things in today's webinar. So firstly, this is part of our accelerated growth model that we implement for our clients. And this component here, we're looking at how to drive more leads through to your business. There's organic SEO, there's your existing database. Today, we're focusing on the paid search advertising side of things. Now, this is all part of the roadmap we implement here to getting your online marketing done the right way. And paid ads is just one part of what you should be doing as an omnipresent approach to really be growing your business through digital marketing channels. So today we're going to deep dive into that. You can take a look at some other webinars for other sessions I've run targeting these other areas as well. And this is all part of then the strategy, which we call the digital dominance method. So today we're going to be focusing on some particular strategies of paid search, some platforms, and going into the details of that. Okay, now this is what we do. We're a landscape, outdoor living, contractor-focused business. So we love the industry. We want the best for the industry, and so we help our clients do that as well, help them grow. And here are some of our clients we're currently working with. And then, why listen to us? Well, we've been in this industry for quite a while. We're getting business, we're getting results, we're getting business growth for our clients. And we're part of the industry too. So we're partnered with a range of organizations there, different landscape associations across the US. And we're also invested into improving ourselves. So we're a part of Seven Figure Agency, which is a mastermind program for marketing agencies like ourselves. So that's it. That's the introduction here. But why do paid search? Well, one of the things you can do with paid search, once it's running, you start to show up very quickly in search results once campaigns are running. You can be very specific in terms of targeting the areas you're after as well. And then you can be very specific in the search terms that would be most relevant to the services you're looking to target as well. Whereas SEO, you have somewhat of a control over those areas as well. But paid search is pay to play. So Google being the main platform for this helps you do that by targeting and using the keyword choices there. And it's a great way to scale because once you've got more business coming in, you can scale up your ad spend, beat out more of your competitors, expand into areas that you haven't been in, or expand into new services. There's lots of opportunity for that scalability. And we call that the paid search accelerator when you work on those things and you're growing up through those areas. Now, this is just part of an overall marketing strategy you should have. We always recommend an organic SEO foundation to go with it. But next is your paid search and your local services ads, which we'll go through in a moment. Then you can do things like retargeting people who visited your site or your profiles so they continue to see your ads. It's not just they see you once and that's it. And then the automation side is making sure that once that contact is made, there is systems, automatic, it could be AI, it could be automated follow-up through the automations that keep nurturing those leads as they come in. So it's not all just on you. Of course, you must have a great sales process as well, but that helps there as well. And then on top of that, we have some other areas like your branding, social paid ads, paid directories, and things like that too that you can bring in once you've got your foundations in place. So start away. That's an introduction of what we're doing. Quick takeaway, quick thing I want you to take a look at is what do you have running right now? Do you have any paid search running right now? Have you done it in the past? Are you managing it? Do you have someone else managing it? Take a look at those things now, right now. And now we'll continue in to the strategy side of things. So first, paid search platform, which we recommend before anything else, is your Google Local Services ads. Now, this is Google's pay-per-lead system. It shows up at the top of a search, though only two companies show, like we can see in this example, only two companies show it once before people have to click on the More Landscapers button here, for example. The reason that this is set up that way is there's only a certain amount of space on the top of a search result, but you want to do everything possible to make sure you're the business showing up there, which you can do with budget, targeting, reviews, optimization of your profile, making sure it's current, up to date, making sure you're contacting the leads, responding to the leads, everything like that. So we'll go into some more detail here, but you can see two businesses in Minneapolis. You've got Dean Bjorkstrand Landscaping has the Google Guaranteed badge, so they've done a background check on the owners to get that badge, and then you can see symmetrical design and build. But if you notice, there's a massive review difference between these. So most people are going to be contacting Dean Bjorkstrand first, just because that social proof, the reviews are so important. Now, for your business, Google has now linked local services ads to your Google business profile, which didn't always used to be the case. But now they're linked. It means that reviews you're getting on your Google business profile will flow into the local services ads profile, the account you have set up. And that is going to help really boost things there as well. So reviews are incredibly important for multiple channels here. And one of the other things you do need now, you need a verified Google business profile to set up these ads accounts as well. And you do need to have at least 5 reviews to also start. So there's a few requirements for that. Now, if you're already running these, hopefully this dashboard looks familiar. This is the local services ads dashboard. You know, how do you optimize this? How do you maximize what you're doing with the local services ads? Well, make sure you got your service areas, your profile details, services, your budgeting all set up the way you want. Then what you need to be doing on a regular basis, we recommend daily, either you're doing this or you have maybe it's a call center or you have someone else you're working with who can do this. But for any leads that you book, make sure you mark that booked on this. Make sure you rate them. If it's AI, Google's AI is listening to these local services ads now, and they're making a decision around whether to credit you back for leads that could be sales calls, job hires, incorrect services, incorrect areas. So you need to make sure that you're speaking that very clearly on the phone when you're answering the phone. First of all, you need to make sure the phone is getting answered for every single ad, but then rate the lead, give that opportunity to tell Google the details about it to help optimize your account as you go. And reviews, we already talked about reviews, go for that. And then to increase your chance of getting credited, keep that phone call very short if it's not the type of lead that fits your business. If it is, make sure you get all the details and go through that. But those are areas to help get that credit back when it's a lead that's not the right fit for your company. So do a takeaway right now. Do you have local services ads running? Do you have them set up? Do you optimize them? Do you update the photos on a regular basis? Have you checked the account lately? And are you doing the rate the lead? Are you doing the marked book section there? Okay. Now, after you have the local services ads set up, the next paid search method we recommend is your Google Ads, which is your main Google Ads account. A long time ago, it used to be called Google AdWords, but it's been around for a long time. This has a lot more choice and flexibility in how you run the ads, but they are a lot more complex to run than the local services ads. So we're going to dive into some key areas here, give you some real practical ways to look at here and things to watch out for. So number one thing we see to look out for with these campaigns is if you are just sending your campaign uh, URL destination to your homepage, you are missing out. Now, you want to make sure that you have a specific page built out for the key services that you're targeting, which we'll get into in a moment. But number one, if you're doing this, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. There are much better ways to make use of that ad spend. Next type of thing you need to be careful of is when you first start a Google Ads account. If you've never done this before, if it's brand new, Google will push you into doing what's called a smart campaign, which pretty much Google is doing the bulk of the work for you there. But it's not going to be a great way to optimize and get the best results for yourself. And a lot of times it's hard to actually track what Google's doing there and how much it's spending. So be very wary of the smart campaign. It's an easy way to waste a lot of money if you just let Google do everything there and follow all of their recommendations. The other thing is when you're setting up the expert mode campaign is the other way to set these up is you want to make sure that you're breaking up your campaigns into ad groups or even specific whole campaigns targeting the types of services that you're after, but also the intent and locations. That's that next level dive into setting these up properly. If you don't, again, people, if they're not sure what your business is actually doing through that they're not going to come through as a lead to you. Now, you need to have a landing page. So a landing page is a specific singular page on a website that has the details about that service, the calls to actions like getting them to call you or submit a quote request. Should have your customer reviews, testimonials. It should showcase your work, but this needs to be specific to the types of campaigns you're running. And the other key area we see people missing out on is not having conversion tracking set up properly. So you need to make sure that you're tracking the phone calls properly, and you need to make sure that you're tracking when a form comes through to you and people are getting responded to, which falls into the automation side, which we'll touch on later in this side. But that is the three key things that are something to watch out for. So check in with yourself now. If you're running these campaigns, is it a smart campaign? If it's not, what type of campaign structure do you have? Do you have landing pages built out? What do they look like? And lastly, do you have conversion tracking in place with phones and form submissions? All right, now to answer the question here, can paid search ads really deliver return on investment for your business? Well, when they're done right, they absolutely can. But it's easy to make the mistakes of not setting things up, and just one little area can skyrocket the costs on this. Which is, if you've had a bad experience, that could be why. But let's take a mathematical breakdown of something here. So let's say you had a Google Ads campaign running, Google local services. You're generating 30 leads. Depending on your business, you change the time frame to fit what would be realistic on your business. For the purpose of this, it doesn't matter too much, but let's say you're converting 30% of those leads, so you get 9 book jobs from your campaign. Your average ticket price is 12.5 grand for your outdoor living project. That means that your revenue from this campaign is $112,500 from those 9 jobs. Now, if you're projecting to get a 7 times return on your spend, let's look at what that actually is. And for this purposes, we're using an $8,000 ad spend, and that's fairly reasonable to look at what you'd be paying if you were having someone manage it properly, plus the advertising spend you're paying Google. Average amount here, so for $8,000 you're getting $112,500 in return on revenue. So that is a 14 times return on investment in what you put into the ads. Now, then, if you start looking at what your profit is on that, you can see it's pretty quick for this to become profitable. And I mean, one thing to note too, some of these campaigns, there is a bit of a lead up, ramp up time for the leads to come in as well. But once things are firing, once they're optimized, once they're set up the right way, this is what's possible using paid search methods here. So take a moment. Have you ever looked at or calculated the return on investment from a marketing strategy? One of the key things here is if your conversion tracking is not set up properly, you can't even accurately measure this. which is why it's so key to have that done in the first place. Okay, now let's go into some details of structuring for reducing your cost per lead and your maximum return on investment. And I'll say it again, conversion tracking, if you don't have it set up, you need to stop. You need to pause things until that is set up properly and you have a way to actually see the calls and the forms that are coming in for your ads before you dive into all of this part here. But phone call leads, they're the forms, they're the ones that matter most. Now, writing the ads, this is the next step here. Some tips and tricks here is you can use AI, ChatGPT, things like that to help you generate ideas for your headlines, descriptions, everything like that. But one of the other key things is to do is get all your customer reviews, put that into ChatGPT, and have it pick out the most celebrated parts of your business, what the customers were most happy with, and use that. Use snippets of your customers and summaries of your customers' reviews in your advertising copy, because that's why people are happy with your service. And if other people are resonating with that, then potential future people could be as well. So there's a little tip for the ad copy. Keyword targeting. We always recommend starting with search terms with near me or locations in them. So landscape designer near me or landscape designer your city, because those people tend to be looking for that service. They're looking for a landscape designer to speak to. If you're just using general terms like landscaping or landscape design, it's hard to know what those people are searching for. Whereas the near me terms and location terms, there's higher intent. Yes, you usually pay a little bit more per click generally for those, but you'd rather have quality leads than people who are just kind of looking around and maybe trying to do it themselves. You want people who want you. Now, a couple other things to look out for under the network section. Make sure you have search and display networks turned off. We just find the quality leads coming through those are not up to par of just having a typical Google search setup. Location targeting, by default, Google will say presence and interested in. You don't want people just interested in your city. Like, there could be people looking for vacations or something like that. You just want people regularly in that location or, have a presence there. Another great way to make sure your ads aren't showing for people out of state, out of city, out of area. Keyword match types. There's a few ways you can set these up, but just generally speaking, the broad match version of showing this will show your ads for all kinds of keywords somewhat closely related to what you put in as your keyword targeting. Don't recommend doing that unless say you have a very strong negative keyword list built out to limit what Google is doing there. Now, another part of Google Ads is a section called assets. You can put things in there like your business logo, your business name, photos of your work, photos of your projects, putting your call tracking there as well as some more detailed sections about your specific services. Structured snippets is one of those. But go through there and just fill out as much of that as possible. Give Google as much assets, data to start putting into your ads, because sometimes your ads will show so much more than a competitor in doing so. You're taking up more space, more likely for people to click on your business doing that. Now, we talked about the landing pages. Now, just a quick general overview of the landing page. It shouldn't allow people to get distracted and leave. You want them to take action. So in most cases, it's going to be getting them to call you or submit a project inquiry through a form. Minimum, make sure you've got great quality photos of your work there and you've got customer testimonials, and that specific page will have its role for whichever service that campaign is running the ads to. Now, ongoing work, optimizing these campaigns, you want to make sure that you're testing things, you're checking your metrics here as well. But under the search terms report section, you can see which keyword searches, not all, Google doesn't show you all, but you can see which keywords people are typing in to show up your ads in front of them as well. And if there are search terms that aren't relevant, that wouldn't be related to your business, your area, your services, competitor, things like that, you can actually add them as negative keywords to stop Google showing your ads or triggering your ads for those search terms. And that's an ongoing basis on optimizing. Just that's one component of that, but it's one of the key areas there. And lastly, on this, what to focus on is look at the lifetime value of your customers. So a customer coming through as a lead, they can go well beyond just that initial project they do with you. They could become a repeat customer and use other services for you. Every person that you do work for, you now have a potential to get a review from, project photos, project videos, all of that can be used across all of your marketing channels, be it digital or physical. So you now have another reason to showcase what you do. And those people can also now become referral partners for you. And you might have a referral program. Another thing, too, is when you're doing your work, if you're putting signs up or people are seeing your branding in your truck, you're expanding that initial lead into having that physical presence of your brand as well. So your cost per lead is one thing to look at. It goes well beyond that. Look at what the lifetime value is. And again, if it's a repeat recurring maintenance service or something like that, factor that in when you're deciding what to spend and what you're happy with in terms of your cost for your Google ads, because you don't want to give up on this too quickly when you haven't thought through that area. Okay, now let's move to the conversion tracking side of things. Just I wanted to dive into this a bit more because it's so important. So for the phone call side of things, you want to make sure you have call tracking in place that can record the conversations, and you can use specific numbers or pools of numbers to be tracking where these leads are coming from. Don't just use your main phone line, because you won't have a good idea of where these leads are coming from and the performance of your campaign. So there are call tracking software you can use for that. We have our platform, JBL Connect, which allows you to do that and link it in. But it's so important to know where the leads are coming from with phone calls. Now, for forms, never let someone submit a form and just leave it there. Make sure that you at least have email and SMS notifications on for the customer and for yourself, thanking them for their inquiry, that someone is going to be in contact with them soon. But really call them as quick as you can. There are AI things you can do to help follow up on the next step here as well. But really, get someone there to call, or hire someone as a call center to call your leads. Doing that's so important for converting the form leads. And then last part, Google Ads allows you to send back information, send back the data about leads that came through. And one of the key things you want to be tracking, it's called offline conversions. One is people that you've done a bid for and people that you've sold the project to. So that can all be fed back with a CRM that's set up right, connected in with Google Ads, and you're training Google's algorithm to get you more of those types of people, more of those types of leads, and that will improve your campaign over time. So that's the rundown of the conversion tracking side of things. Now I want to talk about which are the key performance indicators you want to be measuring. So first one is, how much are you spending in total? That's just a great overview. And generally then, what is the average cost per click? Is a metric to look at, but it's not the be all and end all. Very important to see how much it's costing you to get for certain keywords and adjusting as needed. But the average cost per lead of your calls and the forms is the big section there, because then you can see, okay, we spent this much. This is how many leads we got. Here's our average cost per lead. Work out your closing rates there, and then you can start to do the revenue calculator that I showed earlier to determine the return on investment there that you've gotten. Even better is to be able to put this into a dashboard with a CRM that shows you what the revenue is. But tracking the true revenue is the next level, like actually going in and putting in these specific amounts per project rather than using the average. I used 12.5 grand for the average before, but put in your actual numbers and you can start to get that true return on investment. Okay, now next section here. I want some things for you to ask anyone that you're speaking to who is running your ads or might be running your ads, or maybe it's yourself. I'm going to go through a list of areas here to check, questions to ask yourself. Use it as a checklist. if you need to. So firstly, how much of your budget goes to Google ad spend versus the management costs of the business, or paying for the CRM as well. Some companies charge a flat fee, and you don't know how much of that's going to ad spend, how much is going to them, or management fees, and then you're paying Google Ads directly is the other way there. So ask that question if you're using someone else. Check the conversion tracking. How will you know they're coming from phone calls, forms? How do you get notifications? How do you distinguish between what is a lead from your PPC campaign or from your organic SEO? You don't want to be in a situation where a company is claiming they've generated you leads, but that was from a whole other marketing channel. You want to know exactly how are these split apart to determine that. How are you going to track those key performance indicators we just talked about? Cost per lead, return on investment. Do you have a dashboard that can show you that information very quickly and easily? Do they have landing pages set up for that? Is that something they want you to do? Do they have someone that does that for you? If not, they usually just use your website, which again can just be a source of bleeding money there, but you want to know what's happening with landing pages. Are they testing? What type of optimizations, things are they doing as an ongoing basis for checking the ad quality and improving things there? Assets, we talked about assets as well. What's being put into your Google Ads account? And then what are your targets? What works for you, for your business? What is your cost per lead, return on investment, to make sure that you're getting a return from what you're spending? Those are the key questions to ask. Okay, take a moment to think about some of those questions there, apply it to your business. And then the last section here, we're going to touch on the retargeting and automation side of things. This is really looking at, okay, retargeting. If you've ever been to a Google search and you search for something to buy, then you might have noticed you visit other parts of the internet and these ads are showing up. And this can happen on Facebook, Instagram as well. That's retargeting. And once you have information about some of your leads, there's still opportunities to encourage them to get in contact with you. And we're not going to go into a huge amount of detail retargeting, but there are specific ways you can do that through Google channels. What I really wanted to focus on was the automation side of things. And this is all the automatic things, the automatic texts, emails, follow-ups. You can even do things with AI to get them to book onto your calendar. But everything that's involved that don't allow you to need to do a manual process there as well, and really helps out your sales process there. The automation side of things is key. And look, if you're not getting to that phone call straight away, the chances of you closing that lead drop dramatically. And people take multiple follow-ups sometimes for bookings as well. So you need to stay on top of their radar. You need to make sure you have a database at CRM that's helping you track and manage that as well. And look, a lot of people these days are happy to converse by text and work it out rather than a phone call or email. So make sure you have a CRM in place that's able to do that. If you're just doing that through your personal phone, things are going to get lost. You need to make sure you have a system set up for that. And that's just an example of the retargeting showing up on other websites there as well. But you can also retarget with both digital and physical things like postcards. You can actually send people a postcard once they've visited your business and things like that. There are systems in place there that can be utilized to do that. Now, lastly here, if you want to talk through any of the PPC side of things covered in this webinar, please reach out to us. You can contact us through our website anyway there as well. Here is our phone number. You can schedule a call. Not only can we go through PPC, we'll look at your holistic online marketing plan just to make sure that you've got all the best avenues covered for where you're at with your business. And we'll go into detail with that. And then another thing too is we have what we call the Outdoor Spaces HQ business directory, specific for outdoor living contractors here. You can actually list your business for free. There's SEO benefits, there's online benefits there as well. And businesses there, we just love to make sure that's set up for you too. So go check out that link. You can add your business there, and then our team will add you to the directory once you submit that. And once again, I'm Josh Blakeley from Landscape and Hardscape Contractor Marketing. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.